Not too many years ago, old Dobbin furnished the power for transportation. His only competition was from the railroads. Ever since the beginning of history, the horse has been man's ever-dependable servant. Man geared his entire civilization to the pace of the horse. A mile was a mile, and there was no way to shorten it. But the age of the horse came to an end in the early 1900s. The leisurely pace was over and done. Man had a new power, electricity. And with electricity, the whole structure of man's environment changed. With the invention of the internal combustion engine, the horse started on his way out of the daily scene. At first, the dirt roads of the horse age were good enough. The early cars could not go very fast, and in 1907, the first year drivers had to have licenses, there were only 313 cars in Delaware. Now, in 1960, there are more than 197,000 cars and trucks registered in this state. That averages out to 1 car for every 2.5 people. In other words, everybody in Delaware can be on the road at the same time. Roads like these were all right for slow-moving, lightweight buggies, but fast-moving automobiles soon wear away the surface in dry weather, kicking up great clouds of dust which settles on everything in sight. Soil as loose as this is bound to be a severe problem. Rain will quickly turn dust into mud, and a spring thaw can soften a road in a few hours, making it difficult and dangerous for the unwary driver. At any season of the year, drainage is a big problem. There are many places where the level of groundwater is so high that even moderate rains will cause flooding, especially in Sussex County, and a heavy storm will wash away portions of the road. Such conditions as these are familiar to many rural residents. Some areas are so flat that ditches must be dug deeper at one end to get any flow at all, and if the soil is of a spongy or clayey nature, it will hold the water for many days. In order for a road to survive such conditions, the spongy soil must be taken away and replaced with soil which will not hold water. Then, the road must be built above the ground level, shaped with a crown to shed water, and provided with ditches and culverts to drain the water away from the shoulders. But even these features will not protect the road from weathering and traffic if the surface is not covered. There are many ways to keep a road in serviceable condition. No matter what kind of road it is, maintenance will always be necessary, and country roads require more attention in proportion to their use because they are built out of purely local materials and have only the minimum of constructed facilities. This, of course, is a matter of economy and law. Construction funds must be spent on construction projects and not on maintenance. But every new road eventually requires maintenance, and if the road was not built according to the best engineering principles, it will need more maintenance and will need it sooner. Drainage is one of the biggest problems we face. Here is a sample of good drainage design. The road is high and well graded with adequate ditches and pipe. A mile is 5,280 feet long, but modern automobiles have caused us to think in terms of minutes rather than distance. Modern roads make it possible for you to live many times as far from your work as your grandfather did. The loneliness of isolation is a thing of the past. The road has made all men neighbors. Rural communities have all the advantages of a country estate, and they are but a few minutes from the conveniences of a city. Realizing the importance of the rural roads, the General Assembly in 1955 directed that the State Highway Department pave all the dirt roads in the state in the next 10 years. An initial appropriation of $10 million was made to begin this work. Immediately, Highway Department engineers started preliminary work on this huge long-term project. Each road is carefully examined and its characteristics are recorded. The soil itself is investigated for signs of possible trouble. Laboratory technicians test the soil in its natural environment, measuring its density and collecting samples to take back to the Highway Department laboratory for more detailed observation and examination. Using modern equipment and the latest techniques, careful and experienced technicians inspect the samples and simulate the climatic conditions the road will endure. When all the soil samples are tested, recommendations are made to the engineers concerning the most appropriate materials for the road surface. A basic design for paving the dirt roads is then adapted to the findings of the field inspection party and the laboratory reports. With the inspection reports to guide them, engineers develop the most economical design and specifications to produce a serviceable road. Each detail is carefully plotted so the road builder will know exactly where each item is to be placed. After the dirt road plans have been drawn up, they are carefully reviewed by the engineers to make sure the best possible job is provided for at the most reasonable cost. After the contract has been awarded to the lowest bidder, the contractor commences work to make one more horse and buggy road ready for today's traffic. One of the first steps in improving the road is to clear trees and brush from the right-of-way. Then the old dirt road is broken up so the soil base can be prepared. In some cases, as we see here, the soil is good enough to be used again and does not need to be replaced. When the dirt road program began in 1955, there were 1,626 miles of unpaved roads in Delaware. Most of the dirt roads, 952 miles, were in Sussex County. In Kent County, there were 523 miles of unpaved roads. And in Newcastle County, there were 151 miles of dirt roads. Most of Newcastle County's dirt roads had been paved before this program began. After the soil has been prepared, it is stabilized. Stabilization is very important. In combination with drainage, it determines whether you're going to have a good road or a poor one. Properly done, it means a good, solid foundation. Stabilizing is done by mixing a binder with the soil. In this case, asphalt is being used. Depending on soil conditions, other materials such as Portland cement, calcium chloride, or common salt would be used. Stabilization is more critical in areas where the water table is high and where the soil is unsuitable in its natural state. Often, the whole roadbed must be built up to raise it above these bad conditions, because a soft base or poor drainage will cause rapid failure of a road. Quality must be built into a road. It cannot be repaired in later. Here, the mixture of soil and binder is being rolled. Part of the rolling is done by the contractor and part is done by normal traffic. This keeps the road open to the public. Here is a stabilized road, now ready for the stone surface. 2 layers of stone and asphalt will be placed on this road. In areas of better drainage and good soil conditions where stabilization is not required, 3 layers of stone and asphalt would be placed. When the General Assembly passed the Dirt Road Law in 1955, $10 million was appropriated to begin the project. The Highway Department had a major problem to solve. that of balancing the miles of roads to be done with a minimum of cost. We are all aware of the high cost of living, and these same costs affect the amount of work which can be done on roads. Among the financial problems which face the Highway Department are construction and design costs, the cost of moving utilities, and the costs of right-of-way adjustments. Most of the old roads were built on narrow right-of-way, which is totally inadequate and sometimes dangerous for modern traffic. Attempting to keep the cost of dirt road improvement at a minimum and still provide the facilities our citizens require, the Highway Department adopted the policy of asking adjacent property owners to make available the necessary additional right-of-way. The only exceptions to this policy are the expanded needs at intersections, drainage problem areas, and new alignment locations. It is only reasonable to expect that land for such locations be purchased. Highway Department experience indicates that the type of construction now being done provides the best service and is the most economical. It is felt that it is better economy to build a substantial road which will give longer service than to build a cheap road which will soon wear out. On July 1st, 1960, half of the 10-year period will be over. As of May 1st, the Highway Department has let 94 contracts for work on 340 roads, making a total of 745 miles of improvements. These 340 roads were improved at an average cost of $18,000 per mile. Now, let us see what has been accomplished since the program began 5 years ago. The roads marked in red show what has been done. 88 miles were improved in Newcastle County, leaving 62 miles yet to do. In Kent County, 231 miles were done, leaving 292 miles yet to do. And in Sussex County, 426 miles were improved, leaving 526 miles yet to do. Thus, 881 miles of dirt roads are still in need of modernization. This film report has shown how the Highway Department has met the problems involved in the Dirt Road Improvement Program. The traveling public know how well the dirt roads have been transformed from obsolete roads, which are muddy or dusty according to the season, and bumpy and narrow all the time, into fine, modern rural roads which make travel easy and convenient. If it is the desire of the people of Delaware to continue the program and finish all the roads, more money will be needed. And if the money is provided to finish the dirt road program, the general public may rest assured that the Highway Department will continue to do its job conscientiously, expeditiously, and economically.